Tired of seeing new neighborhoods with no trees, no character, and homes packed in like a parking lot? Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing some of the most established neighborhoods here on the south side of Corpus Christi. These are going to be the ones with real charm, the mature trees, and that true neighborhood feel. Hey everyone, I'm Lezli Milner, a realtor here in Corpus Christi, Texas, and by the end of this video, you're not only going to know which areas that the locals love, but also what makes these communities stand out, and also a few things to be aware of when buying in these older neighborhoods, like potential updates or maintenance needs. And if one of these neighborhoods that I talk about sounds like what you've been looking for and you're ready to take that next step, I would love to help you with your move, and you can find my contact information in the description below. Now let's get into it. The moment you drive into one of these established neighborhoods here on the south side, you can automatically feel the difference. The streets are lined with big mature oak trees, palm trees, and crepe myrtles that have been growing for decades, which not only gives the area a more lived in and comfortable feel, but it also provides actual shade, which makes a huge difference during our hot Corpus summers. You're going to also notice that the homes in these neighborhoods aren't all identical. Unlike in the newer construction neighborhoods where every other house looks the same, these areas were built over time, usually 10, 20, or even 30 years ago. And most of these homes are going to have character. You're going to see different brick colors, architectural styles, and layouts. Some are going to be custom built, others are going to be semi-custom, and you really don't get that cookie cutter feel. And what that really matters most to a lot of buyers who wants a home that stands out. Another thing to consider is the lot size. Most of these neighborhoods were developed when the builders gave you just a little bit more space, so the yards tend to be bigger both in the front and the back. You've got room for gardens, storage sheds, real patios, and in even some cases even a pool. Also, because the houses aren't stacked right on top of each other, you're going to be getting a little bit more privacy, and that extra space between homes makes a big difference in your day-to-day living. For instance, in my neighborhood, homes are pretty close to each other, so when my neighbor's dog stands at the fence barking at 5 a.m., he's only about 6 to 8 feet from our room, so at times it can be extremely frustrating. Anyways, the landscaping is another thing that adds to the curb appeal. Instead of the tiny trees, the bare dirt lawns, and just the fresh sod, you're gonna see established lawns, flowering shrubs, and trees that actually tower over the homes in these communities. People have lived here long enough to invest in the homes, and you can definitely tell. There's a sense of pride here that you don't always see in a newer community, where half of the homes are still under construction. And speaking of new construction, that's another big difference. It's a new neighborhood, and you're gonna likely be living with dust, contractor trucks, and ongoing noise for months or even years, depending on how fast the builder and developer are working. But in these older areas, that's not something that you have to deal with. Most of the streets are quiet and the homes are occupied, and the neighbors actually know one another. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not knocking on new construction. There are a lot of fantastic builders here in Corpus, and if you are looking for something move-in ready with builder warranties and maybe even some closing cost incentives, a new build can be a great option for you. However, the lifestyle is just different. It's not as developed, you don't usually have mature landscaping, and just the feel of the neighborhood isn't the same, at least not yet. Now, this video is really for those who are looking for something that already feels like home, a place with trees and character and a more established community vibe. So with that said, let's get into the most established neighborhoods here on the south side. One of the first neighborhoods that I want to highlight is Country Club Estates, which locals often refer to simply as the Country Club. It's located just between Everhart and Staples, right in the heart of the South Side. And this spot really gives you easy access to shopping centers, restaurants, gyms, and medical offices, but once you're in the neighborhood, it still feels peaceful and set apart from the busier streets nearby. And this is one of the most established neighborhoods on the south side of Corpus, with homes dating back to the 1970s. It's known for its wide, winding streets, the mature oak trees, and a mix of custom and semi-custom homes. Some have been fully updated, while others are still reflecting their original charm. You're going to see a variety of home styles here as well, from one-story ranch homes to larger two-story properties with brick exterior, and even some with Spanish or Mediterranean influences. Most of these homes sit on generally sized lots, and many include backyard pools or beautifully landscaped yards. A few even back up right onto the golf course, offering great views. Now, the neighborhood is split by Everhart Road though, which is a main street running through the community, and depending on what side you're on, the homes can feel a little bit different. On the east side of Everhart, the homes tend to be larger, more updated, and they're often closer or directly on the golf course. Prices in this section typically range from the mid 300s to the low 700s, and the HOA fees are going to run anywhere from around $220 to $290 a year. On the west side of Everhart, the homes are generally smaller, a bit older, and more affordable. This side of Country Club Estates does not have an HOA, and you can usually expect pricing from the mid 100,000s to mid 300,000s. And this side of the neighborhood is also home to one of Corpus Christi's most loved holiday traditions, Candy Cane Lane. Every December, the whole neighborhood transforms with Christmas decoration and lights. Some people drive through to see everything, while others will park nearby and walk the streets to just soak it all in. You're going to see backyard winter wonderlands, front yards covered in decorations, and even neighbors out front selling hot cocoa, popcorn, or holiday snacks. It really brings the whole community to life during this holiday season and adds a really special charm to this area. Now, this neighborhood is zoned to Chenin Estates Elementary, Boney Middle School, and Mary Carroll High School, which recently just opened a brand new campus. Some families in this area also look into nearby private or charter school options, since there are several well-rated ones just a short drive away. Because these homes are mostly built a few decades ago, it's always a good idea to look at things like the age of the roof, the HVAC systems, original plumbing, or even the windows. Now, some homes may still have the older finishes, while others have been fully remodeled, but regardless of updates, what you're really buying into here is that long-term value, that neighborhood character, and the pride of ownership that continues to make Country Club Estates one of the most desirable areas on the south side. And just like with the other neighborhoods that I'm going to cover in this video, I'm going to have links in the description below where you can check out what's currently for sale in each neighborhood. Another well-established neighborhood here on the south side that's worth checking out is the Lakes. It is one of those communities that feels quiet and tucked away. Even though it's located in the heart of the south side, it's just off of Everhart and Yorktown Boulevard, so you're still close to everything like shopping centers, restaurants, gyms, and even schools, but the neighborhood itself feels calm and private. And what makes the lake stand out is the overall design. You have curving streets, you have the small lakes and ponds, and a variety of homes that don't all look the same. It has a more custom, well thought out layout that's a nice break from the grid-like feel of newer subdivisions. You're not going to find rows of identical homes here. Instead, you're going to see a variety of styles and layouts, with many of the homes built in the late 1990s to the early 2000s. Now, most of them are going to have great curb appeal, the mature landscaping, and well-maintained yards, and a lot of them have been also updated with new flooring, kitchens, or even bathrooms, while still holding on to that solid construction and the bigger lot sizes that are harder to find in the newer home. There's also a gated section within the neighborhood called the Great Lakes. It's a very exclusive, and there's only about 30 homes, and the HOA fees here are going to be higher. They're sitting at around $650 a year, but you get a lot more privacy and just more luxury style atmosphere. Outside of the gated section, most HOA fees in the lakes will fall between $97 and $177 per quarter, but that depends on which part of the neighborhood you're in. There's also a section of the neighborhood that has an annual HOA fee of around $350. Now, no matter where you're located in the lakes, you still get access to the community amenities, which include a pool, the clubhouse, and tennis courts, along with the well-maintained common areas. Now, when it comes to the home prices in the lakes, you're going to typically see listings start around the low 300,000s and go up to the mid 500s. Occasionally, you're going to find something in the mid 200,000s, but those homes usually need a good amount of work, or they're being sold as is. The average home here is move-in ready, and it holds its value really well, which makes this neighborhood especially appealing for long-term buyers. The Lakes is zoned to Jones Elementary, Grant Middle School, and Mary Carroll High School. Like I just mentioned, opened a brand new campus, and that school zoning makes it a strong option for families who want to stay in a good district without giving up space, privacy, or a more established neighborhood setting. Because this is a more established neighborhood, it's always a good idea to keep an eye on things like updates and the condition of the home as you're touring these properties, especially if they haven't been remodeled in a while. But overall, the Lakes offers a solid mix of well-maintained properties and newer updates, with a range of price points that make it appealing to both families and long-term buyers. Next up is Kings Crossing. This is one of the most well-known master plan communities on the south side of Corpus. While the newer sections have been added over the years, it's the original phases built throughout the 1990s and the early 2000s where you're going to find just a little bit more character, more charm, and more mature landscaping. Kings Crossing is located off South Staples and Oso Parkway. You can also access it from Cimarron, and the location is super convenient. You're just minutes from SPID and all the shopping and dining options on the south side. Even though you're close to everything, once you're inside the neighborhood, it feels tucked away and very peaceful. The homes here are typically larger two-story properties, many with brick exteriors, spacious front yards, and very thoughtful designs that really give this neighborhood a custom-built feel. You're going to find cul-de-sacs, curved streets, and a few homes that back up to the old golf course, which really adds to the privacy and the overall appeal. Now, the tree coverage has really filled in over the years, so you get that shaded, lived in that is very different from the newer, more bare developments that are nearby. One of the biggest draws for families is the school zoning. Kings Crossing is zoned to Morales Elementary, Caffey Middle School, and Veterans Memorial High School, which is one of the top-rated public high schools here in Corpus. That alone makes this neighborhood a top choice for many buyers wanting to stay long-term. Within Kings Crossing, there's also an exclusive gated section called the Domain, which features larger luxury-style homes on oversized lots. Homes in the Domain typically range from the mid 600,000s to over 1.6 million, and the HOA fees there are around $1,200 a year. In the rest of Kings Crossing, homes generally fall between the high 300,000s and the mid 700,000s, with an average HOA fee of about $366 annually. Now, this neighborhood was built over time, therefore you're going to find a mix of original finishes and fully updated homes. Some properties have had full remodels, while others might still have the original tile, cabinetry, or even the fixtures. So if you are considering a home here in this neighborhood, it is worth taking a closer look at the level of updates it has, especially if you're hoping to avoid big renovation projects. Now, with that said, many homes here in Kings Crossing have been really well maintained, and it's easy to see the pride of the ownership throughout the neighborhood. Moving on, we've got Brighton Village, another well-established neighborhood that's here on the south side, and that's actually remained a favorite among locals for years. Now, this neighborhood is located off of Cimarron and Saratoga, and the development started back in the late 1980s, and it continued through the 1990s, so it really has that settled, consistent neighborhood feel without coming across as outdated. But most of the homes here are going to be brick one-story layouts with two-car garages and traditional floor plans. Now, many of the houses have been updated over the years with new roofs or windows or even interior finishes, but even the ones that haven't still have solid bones and good curb appeal. It's not the flashiest neighborhood, but it's reliable, and you can tell that homeowners take pride in maintaining their properties here. The neighborhood has streets that are wide, clean, and walkable, and overall the vibe is very family friendly. You're going to often see kids riding bikes, people walking their dogs, and neighbors just out chatting in their driveways. There are sidewalks throughout the neighborhood and small parks nearby, which make it feel even more community oriented. Brighton Village is located just off Cimarron and Saratoga, like I mentioned, so you've got quick access to grocery stores, gyms, restaurants, and schools. This neighborhood is zoned to Webb Elementary, Caffey Middle School, and Veterans Memorial High School, which is one of the biggest selling points for families. Now, the school zoning alone tends to keep demand high whenever a home hits the market here. When it comes to price, homes here in this community usually fall somewhere between the low 240s and low 300,000s, depending on the size, the condition, and whether any updates have been done or not. It's one of the more affordable options among the neighborhoods that I've talked about in this video, which makes it a great fit for first-time home buyers, growing families, or anyone looking to stay in a strong school zone without stretching their budget. There is no HOA here in Brighton Village, which does give the homeowners more freedom. You're not limited on what color you can paint your exterior or where you can store a boat or your trailer. That flexibility is a huge plus for a lot of people, but it also means that upkeep can vary from house to house, so it is worth paying attention to the street view when you're browsing listings. As far as what to keep in mind, homes here are older, but many have already been updated or at least well cared for over the years. Some properties still have their original tile or even cabinetry, so it really just depends on what you're looking for. The lot sizes are pretty decent here, but they are not as large as what you're going to find in neighborhoods like the Country Club Estates or the lake. So if having a larger backyard or even a space for a pool is high on your list, just be aware that those features might be limited here in this neighborhood. The last neighborhood that I want to highlight is Wooldridge Creek, another established neighborhood here on the south side that has flown a bit under the radar in my opinion, but is definitely worth considering. It's located off of Wooldridge Road between Cimarron and South Staple Street, so you're right in the mix of everything while you're still getting that tucked away neighborhood feel. The development started back in the late 1980s and continued through the 1990s, community. So in my opinion, it has that lived in comfortable feel with homes that really have stood the test of time. You'll find a mix of 1 and 2 story brick homes, mature trees, and longtime residents who clearly take pride in where they live. The overall vibe here is quiet and residential, but you're still close to everything with quick access to Staples, Saratoga, and all the major shopping, dining, and day-to-day conveniences on the south side. It's not the most talked about neighborhood, but if you are looking for a solid home in a great location without stretching your budget, then this neighborhood is definitely worth checking out. The homes here tend to be a little bit more traditional in style with larger living areas. You have brick fireplaces and formal dining spaces. You'll also notice that the lots here are a little bit bigger than what you're going to usually get in the newer subdivisions, giving you actual yard space, more mature landscaping, and just a little bit more breathing room. Some of the larger interior lots in this community even have in-ground pools, which is a very nice bonus if that's on your wish list. Wooldridge Creek is zoned to Moore Elementary, Atkins Middle School, and Veterans Memorial High School, which is one of the top performing public high schools here in Corpus, like I mentioned before. And that school zoning continues to be a major draw for families here in the area. And depending on what you're looking for, there are also a few private and charter school options nearby. And price-wise, most homes here in Wooldridge Creek fall between mid-200s and mid-400,000s. Now, depending on the size, the upgrades, and whether or not the home has a pool, occasionally you might find something here in the low 200s, but it will likely need some updating. And the homes that are at the higher end of the price range are typically going to be newer builds located in the more recently developed section of Wooldridge Creek. Now, one big plus for many buyers is that there is no HOA here. That means you have more freedom when it comes to how you maintain your property, whether that's adding a shed or, like I mentioned, parking a boat or making changes to your exterior without needing that HOA approval. On the flip side, you might see a bit more variety in the upkeep from one home to the next. So it's always a good idea to drive through the neighborhood and really get a feel for the area before jumping in. Now, some homes here in the neighborhood have already been updated, while others will still reflect that era that they were built in. So depending on what you're looking for, you might come across properties that feel a little bit more original in their layout or their style, which can either be a fun project or something to pass on if you want something move-in ready and a little bit more modern. Now, those are just a few of the more established neighborhoods here on the south side of Corpus Christi, but they're definitely not the only ones. There are other pockets and long-standing communities with that same charm, mature trees, and convenient location. These 5 are just some of the more well-known and consistently sought-after areas that I recommend starting with if you're looking for that true neighborhood feel. And to make things easy, I have separate links in the description below for each neighborhood that I talked about in this video, so you can check out what's currently available in each area. And if you're planning to buy here in Corpus and you're ready to take that next step, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to help you find the right neighborhood and make the buying process as smooth as possible for you. You'll find my contact information in the description below. And if you did find this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe button below, give this video a like, and tap that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my weekly videos. And if you have any questions about one of the neighborhoods that I mentioned, be sure to drop them in the comments below. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.